I could speak all night about Russell, an emotional guy who will run through a wall for me. I don't take it for granted. I love you, man.
If you ever thought loyalty in sports was unbreakable, buckle up, because this story proves that even the tightest bond can shatter into a million pieces the moment ego gets involved. Imagine two future Hall of Famers, drafted to build a dynasty together, standing shoulder to shoulder in their early 20s, promising the world they'd bring glory to an entire city that had never known basketball greatness. Everyone believed Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook were the golden ticket, but the way their partnership imploded, you couldn't script it any uglier. It started innocently enough. Kevin Durant arrived first, quiet, humble, a long, wiry kid with a jumper so smooth it looked like poetry. Oklahoma City was fresh off a relocation and desperate for an identity. Durant was exactly the kind of star you could build a franchise around. A year later, Russell Westbrook walked in, loud, explosive, with a chip on his shoulder the size of the entire state. Where Durant was measured and strategic, Westbrook was chaos and sneakers. At first, that contrast was absolutely electric. By their second season together, it was obvious this duo was special. Durant was dropping 30 points without breaking a sweat. Westbrook was slashing through defenders like a heat-seeking missile. The Thunder's pace was suffocating. Opponents knew exactly what was coming and still couldn't stop it. They became the darlings of the league, a young squad with zero fear and limitless swagger. But inside the locker room, the seeds of resentment were already taking root. Durant was supposed to be the face of the franchise. Everyone knew it. He was the MVP candidate, the scoring champ, the guy Nike wanted to plaster on billboards. And yet, here came Westbrook, refusing to play sidekick to anyone. Every time Durant thought he'd secured his spotlight, Russ would storm onto the scene with another triple-double, another viral highlight, another night of hijacking the offense, because he believed deep down that he could do it all himself. The first public crack came in December 2011, and it wasn't lovely. A timeout against Memphis turned into a screaming match. Cameras caught them going at each other's throats, and just like that, the illusion of unity evaporated. Durant tried to smooth it over afterward, swearing they were still brothers. But people who paid attention knew this was no passing spat. This was a preview of the storm that was coming. And then the front office did something that would haunt this franchise forever. In 2012, James Harden, arguably the glue keeping everything together, asked for a max extension. The team lowballed him. Harden was traded to Houston. With him went the Thunder's best chance at balance. Suddenly, it was just Durant and Westbrook, forced to coexist with no mediator to calm the tension. What followed was an emotional roller coaster. Durant won MVP in 2014, and for a fleeting moment, it seemed like they'd finally figured it out. Westbrook learned to dial back his recklessness just enough to let Durant thrive. But the basketball gods weren't done testing them. The next season, Durant's foot gave out. While he limped through rehab, Russ took over, playing like a man possessed, putting up numbers that hadn't been seen since Oscar Robertson. Everyone applauded him, but Durant saw something different. A partner growing too comfortable as a solo act. Fast forward to 2016. New coach Billy Donovan managed to reboot the offense just enough to keep them both happy. They made an improbable run, reaching the Western Conference Finals. Up 3-1 against the 73-win Golden State Warriors, they were one step from the NBA Finals. The dynasty everyone had envisioned was within reach, and then a complete, devastating collapse. 3 straight losses. The two of them froze in Game 6 while Klay Thompson rained threes like a video game cheat code. Game 7 was a funeral procession. That loss didn't just end their season, it detonated their relationship like a nuclear bomb. Durant was done. Done trying to make it work. Done babysitting Westbrook's shot selection. Done believing Oklahoma City would ever build a system sophisticated enough to elevate them both. He went into free agency with his mind made up, and before Westbrook even had a chance to plead his case, Durant announced he was joining the very team that had just humiliated them.
The news again coming in moments ago, Kevin Durant heading to the Golden State Warriors. How are you viewing this move from Durant?
Well, I'm viewing it as the weakest move I've ever seen from a superstar.
The betrayal was nuclear. Overnight, Kevin Durant became public enemy number 1. The soft-spoken kid who used to post Bible verses on Twitter had transformed into the villain who stabbed his co-star in the back and ran off to stack rings with Steph Curry. Westbrook's reaction was volcanic. He claimed he found out about Durant's departure the same way everyone else did, on his phone, No phone call, no heads up, just a cold, transactional exit. And that was when the beef went from simmering to absolutely scorched earth. Westbrook posted cryptic Instagram captions about loyalty and snakes. He filmed a cupcake ad because Durant's old teammates used to call him Cupcake for being soft. Every press conference turned into a therapy session about betrayal. Durant, for his part, tried to play it cool, smiling in interviews and acting like he didn't care. However, he cared enough to create burner Twitter accounts, allowing him to respond to fans and defend himself anonymously. The pettiness reached Olympic levels. When they finally faced each other on the court, it was pure theater of hostility. Every drive to the basket was a statement. Every stare down was a chapter in their unfinished feud. The first time the Warriors came to Oklahoma City, fans unleashed a torrent of boos so loud it rattled the arena. Signs called Durant a coward. T-shirts mocked his softness. And Westbrook played like he was trying to tear the rim off its hinges. During one memorable sequence, they got in each other's faces at half court, screaming at each other. Teammates had to separate them before it escalated into a physical altercation. It was clear this wasn't just professional rivalry anymore. This was deeply, painfully personal. Even the All-Star game turned awkward. They were selected for the same squad, but refused to speak to each other. At one point, Westbrook tossed Durant an alley-oop, and Durant slammed it down. The crowd exploded, hoping it was a sign of reconciliation. But after the game, neither would admit they'd planned it. The vibe was icy as ever. Off the court, the jabs never stopped. Durant claimed they were never really that close, just colleagues. Westbrook fired back in interviews, insisting he had no regrets about staying loyal to Oklahoma City. Fans picked sides. Some argued that Durant did what any smart player would do, win. Others insisted he sold his soul to the enemy. The debate raged on podcasts, talk shows, and Twitter threads. Meanwhile, their careers diverged in surreal ways. Durant collected rings in Golden State, 2 championships, 2 finals MVPs, all the validation he'd craved. But each trophy came with an asterisk in the eyes of the public. You didn't just beat Russ, you ran away from him. Westbrook, on the other hand, went off the handle. In 2017, he averaged a triple-double for the entire season, something nobody thought possible in the modern NBA. He won the MVP, an award many saw as a giant middle finger to Durant. Every time Russ pounded his chest after a game winner, you could feel the subtext, "You left me, and I'm still here." Even as time passed, the tension never fully disappeared. Durant tried to downplay it in interviews, but every time he slipped and admitted he missed Oklahoma City, the wounds reopened.
Got out of my own head and got out of my own way and start, thinking it was even a thing, I feel like I just made it a thing.
Every time Westbrook spoke about family and loyalty, you knew exactly who he was thinking about. It took years for the frost to thaw. By 2018, Durant began hinting that maybe he'd overreacted, that maybe they'd both let pride get in the way. But even then, any attempt at reconciliation felt half-hearted, as though neither was willing to be the first to admit just how much the breakup hurt. Then came a series of small gestures. A handshake here, a smile there. A compliment buried in a post-game interview. Durant praised Westbrook's competitive fire. Westbrook called Durant one of the best scorers he'd ever seen. It wasn't exactly a reunion, but it was something. Fans wanted a storybook ending, 2 old friends making peace and sharing a laugh about the past. But reality rarely works that way. They'd burned too many bridges, said too many things they couldn't unsay. And yet, even in their coldest moments, you could tell, there was still respect. Because for all their differences, no one else would ever understand what it felt like to carry that franchise on their backs. In the end, their beef was bigger than basketball. It was about identity, about what it means to stay loyal to your dreams and the people you chase them with. Durant wanted validation. Westbrook wanted loyalty. In the midst of it all, a city watched as 2 legends tore each other apart and eventually learned to live with the consequences. These days, you'll sometimes see them share a quick handshake before a game. It's not quite forgiveness, not quite friendship, but maybe it's enough. Because deep down, they both know the truth. No matter where they went or how many banners they hung, nothing ever felt as electric as those nights in Oklahoma City when they were young, hungry, and still believed they'd build a dynasty together. That's the thing about legendary duos. When it works, it's transcendent. When it falls apart, it leaves scars that never fully fade. And for Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, those scars became the story the whole world couldn't stop watching.